Love is a wonderful thing, but it is not always simple. There are moments when you feel like you understand everything, but then there are times when you feel confused and lost. So how to overcome the challenges in love? Have you ever found yourself in a relationship that felt almost right, but something was always missing? Maybe he was sweet, attentive, and charming, but deep down, you knew he wasn't truly invested. The truth is, not every man who shows interest is ready for real love. Some want attention, not commitment. Others seek comfort, not connection. In this video, we'll uncover 7 types of men who are never serious about love, so you can stop wasting your heart on the wrong ones and start protecting your peace. Watch closely. One of these may sound uncomfortably familiar. Welcome to the channel, Sophia's Knowledge, and my name is Sophia. This is where we will explore, learn, and share valuable lessons about love. In today's video, Sophia will reveal to you 7 types of men who are never serious in love. Let's explore with Sophia the secrets to building a strong and meaningful love. Before we begin, find a quiet place, put on your headphones and relax. Let all your worries go away, and let the messages in this video help you calm down and feel the most complete. Are you ready? Let's start now. Type number 1. The commitment-phobic man. Why he'll never be serious about love. At first glance, the commitment-phobic man may seem charming, exciting, and emotionally available. He knows how to flirt, he knows what to say, and he often makes a woman feel like she's the only one in the world. But as the relationship progresses, something begins to shift. The moment the topic of commitment surfaces, his entire demeanor changes. He becomes evasive, distant, and suddenly too busy to engage. That is the first red flag that you are dealing with a man who fears commitment. Commitment-phobic men are not necessarily bad people. In fact, many of them genuinely believe they are looking for love. They enjoy romantic experiences and may even fall in love. But their internal fear of being tied down or emotionally responsible for another person makes it impossible for them to commit long-term. The relationship remains stagnant or worse, begins to deteriorate once the woman seeks more depth, security, or clarity. One of the most common traits of the commitment-phobic man is his avoidance of future-oriented conversations. If you mention moving in together, planning a vacation months ahead, or even meeting each other's families, he becomes uncomfortable. He might say things like, "Let's not rush things," or "I just want to enjoy the moment." While this can sound poetic at first, it eventually becomes clear that he is using these phrases to avoid deeper emotional involvement. Another clear sign is his inconsistency. In the early stages, he might be affectionate, attentive, and communicative. But as time passes, he starts pulling away without warning. He stops replying as quickly. He becomes emotionally unavailable. He's busy more often than not. These mixed signals create confusion, making the woman question if she did something wrong. In reality, this behavior is a self-protective mechanism to keep the relationship from advancing. Commitment-phobic men also tend to keep their options open. Even if he says he is exclusive, his behavior might suggest otherwise. He flirts with others, keeps dating apps on his phone, or has female friends he seems too close to. He doesn't want to be tied down, and he likes the feeling of knowing he could walk away at any time. For him, relationships are only enjoyable as long as they feel light and optional. The moment it starts to feel like a responsibility, he withdraws. Emotionally, this kind of man is often wounded. Some commitment-phobic men have experienced past heartbreak or childhood trauma that taught them love equals pain. Others fear losing their freedom or identity in a relationship. Whatever the root cause, the result is the same. They sabotage meaningful connections to avoid the vulnerability that comes with true intimacy. And in doing so, they hurt the people who care about them. A woman in love with a commitment-phobic man often finds herself waiting. Waiting for him to be ready. Waiting for him to open up. waiting for him to finally say, "I want a future with you." But that day rarely comes. And if it does, it's often filled with hesitation, conditions, or a sense that he is doing it out of pressure rather than genuine desire. This leaves the woman emotionally exhausted, feeling like she is the only one truly investing in the relationship. It's also important to note that the commitment-phobic man usually avoids accountability. If the relationship ends or hits a rough patch, he might say, "I told you I wasn't ready," or "You knew who I was from the start." He paints himself as the misunderstood loner rather than acknowledging the emotional damage he caused by being hot and cold, inconsistent, and non-committal. If you're dating someone like this, it's crucial to recognize that you cannot change him. Love does not cure commitment phobia. Patience does not magically make someone ready. And your worth is not determined by your ability to make him stay. A healthy relationship is one where both people move toward each other with clarity, intention, and mutual effort. If he is constantly moving away, it is time to stop chasing and start protecting your heart. The commitment-phobic man might come back. He might apologize. He might even say he misses you. But unless he has truly done the inner work to understand and heal his fear, the pattern will repeat. And each cycle takes a deeper emotional toll on you. Real love involves risk, yes, but it also involves action. If someone truly loves you, they won't run from commitment. They will take small steps to build a future with you, even if they are scared. They won't leave you in confusion or make you question your worth. They will stand beside you, not behind a wall of excuses. So if you find yourself in love with a commitment-phobic man, ask yourself this: are you in love with him, or with the potential you see in him? Because falling in love with someone's potential is the fastest way to lose yourself. You deserve a love that moves forward with you, not one that keeps you stuck in place. What do you think about this? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. I look forward to hearing from you and discussing further. Don't forget to like if you find this content useful and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future posts. Thank you very much. Let's continue together. Type number 2. The man who always keeps his options open. Why you'll never be his only one. He tells you he likes you. He says you are special. He might even call you his girlfriend. But deep down, something feels off. He rarely shows vulnerability. He is emotionally guarded. He avoids exclusivity talks or makes vague promises about commitment. That's because you are dating a man who always keeps his options open. This type of man operates from a mindset of scarcity and self-protection. Instead of investing fully in one person, he spreads his emotional energy across multiple people or possibilities. Even if he is in a relationship, he continues to flirt with others, engage in suggestive conversations online, or maintain a network of just friends who could quickly become something more. He does not close doors. He leaves them ajar, just in case. One of the clearest signs is his behavior on social media and dating platforms. Even after being with you for a while, he still has an active dating profile. He follows and interacts with multiple women in a flirtatious manner. He may explain it away as harmless or accuse you of being insecure if you bring it up. But his digital habits reflect his emotional reality. He is not truly committed. He thrives on attention and validation. This man enjoys the chase, the thrill of new possibilities, and the ego boost that comes from knowing multiple people are interested in him. Being in a relationship does not satisfy his need for affirmation. In fact, he fears that exclusivity means missing out on something better that might be just around the corner. Even in conversation, he leaves room for ambiguity. When you ask about where the relationship is heading, he responds with "let's just see how things go," or "I don't like labels." He avoids defining the relationship because doing so would require making a choice, and he does not want to give up his options. In his mind, certainty equals limitation. so he dances around clarity to preserve his freedom. The man who keeps his options open often says all the right things but fails to back them up with consistent actions. He tells you he cares, but cancels plans last minute. He says you are important, but disappears when you need him most. His words paint a beautiful picture, but the reality is filled with inconsistency and emotional gaps. You feel confused, anxious, and constantly unsure of where you stand. This kind of relationship can be deeply draining. You start to question your value, wonder if you are being too needy, or convince yourself that if you just wait a little longer, he will finally choose you. But the truth is, he does not want to choose. He wants to keep choosing indefinitely. You are not his destination. You are one of many scenic stops along the way. Emotionally, he avoids depth. He may be fun, charismatic, and even passionate in the moment, but when things get serious, he becomes distant or unavailable. He changes the subject when you express your feelings. He might even accuse you of pressuring him or being too intense. His emotional wall is not just there to protect himself, it also keeps you at arm's length, so he never has to truly invest. And if you try to walk away, he pulls you back in, just enough to keep you around. He may love bomb you with attention, say he misses you, or promise he is ready to focus on you. But once he feels secure again, he drifts back into old patterns. The cycle repeats, and you are left wondering why nothing ever truly changes. The man who keeps his options open does not operate from love. He operates from fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of choosing wrong. Fear of being vulnerable. And unless he confronts those fears, he will continue to use others as placeholders while searching for something that doesn't actually exist. The perfect option. It's important to recognize that you cannot compete for someone's full attention. You should never feel like you are in a silent contest with invisible rivals. Love is not a game of elimination. If you feel like you are constantly trying to prove your worth, then you are not in a relationship, you are in an audition. You deserve someone who closes the door to other options because he is sure about you. Someone who chooses you not just once, but every single day. Someone who isn't afraid of commitment because he knows real love requires focus, sacrifice, and presence. If you are with a man who always keeps his options open, ask yourself this: do you want to be someone's backup plan or someone's priority? Because no matter how much you care about him, staying with someone who never truly chooses you means you are choosing a life of uncertainty and emotional imbalance. Let him keep his options. You keep your self-worth. If you are still watching the video, do not hesitate to comment continue. Leave your thoughts and questions below in the comment section. I look forward to hearing your opinions. And do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that Sophia has more motivation to create more good and meaningful videos. Let's continue together. Type number 3. The hot and cold man. A roller coaster you shouldn't ride. One moment, he's overflowing with affection. He calls you his everything, texts you all day, and makes you feel like you are the center of his universe. The next moment, he vanishes. He stops replying. He acts distant and cold, as if you never mattered. This confusing emotional roller coaster is the trademark of the hot and cold man. He keeps you constantly guessing. When he is hot, it feels magical. He is attentive, romantic, and incredibly invested. You feel secure, wanted, and hopeful about the relationship. But then, without warning, his warmth turns into frost. He becomes withdrawn, avoids conversations, and shows minimal interest. You are left wondering, what just happened? The danger of dating a hot and cold man is not only the instability, but also the psychological impact. His inconsistent behavior creates a pattern of emotional conditioning. When he pulls away, you start chasing him, trying to win back his attention. And when he comes back around, you feel relieved and validated. This back and forth traps you in a cycle where your emotional well-being becomes dependent on his unpredictable moods. This man may not even be aware of the damage he causes. In many cases, he has unresolved emotional issues or commitment fears. He pulls close when he wants intimacy and connection, but pulls away when it starts to feel too real or overwhelming. He may even convince himself that he loves you, but his actions tell a different story. His hot and cold behavior is not a sign of passion. It is a sign of confusion, fear, or emotional immaturity. Healthy relationships are built on consistency, not chaos. Real love does not leave you questioning your worth every other day. But with this type of man, that's exactly what happens. You never know which version of him you will get tomorrow. When you confront him about his inconsistency, he often deflects. He might say you are overreacting or being too emotional. He might blame work stress or family issues. He will rarely take responsibility for his behavior. Instead, he gaslights you into thinking your hurt feelings are unjustified. Over time, this erodes your confidence and distorts your sense of reality. Another manipulation tactic he uses is to give you just enough to keep you hopeful. When he senses that you are pulling away or getting frustrated, he turns on the charm. He showers you with compliments, sends thoughtful messages, and acts as if nothing was ever wrong. These brief moments of affection renew your emotional investment, even though the cycle of withdrawal is bound to return. You may start to believe that you are the problem. That if you just do more, say the right things, or avoid triggering him, he will stay in his warm phase. But no matter how hard you try, his pattern remains the same. That's because the issue is not you, it is his emotional inconsistency. And unless he chooses to confront it, nothing will change. One of the most damaging aspects of this type of relationship is the emotional exhaustion. You constantly feel on edge, waiting for the next shift in his behavior. You find yourself walking on eggshells, afraid to express your needs or ask for clarity. Your emotional energy is drained trying to interpret his mixed signals and keep the relationship afloat. The hot and cold man thrives in ambiguity. He rarely defines the relationship, and when you ask for clarity, he gives vague responses. He may say things like, "I care about you, but I'm not ready," or "let's just go with the flow." These words are meant to keep you emotionally attached while giving him the freedom to detach whenever he feels like it. Deep down, he may be terrified of intimacy. Real closeness requires vulnerability, accountability, and emotional stability, all things he struggles with. So instead, he creates distance under the disguise of needing space or time. But that space is never productive. It is simply a way for him to avoid responsibility without fully letting you go. You deserve a relationship where you do not have to earn consistency. Where love does not come and go like the weather. Where your emotional security is not at the mercy of someone's instability. The hot and cold man is not offering you love. He is offering you confusion, inconsistency, and pain disguised as passion. It is tempting to stay, especially during the warm phases. Those moments can feel intoxicating. But remember, real love is not a high followed by a crash. It is calm, steady, and supportive. It builds you up rather than tears you down. If you are involved with a hot and cold man, ask yourself this: do you feel safe in this relationship? Do you feel emotionally supported, valued, and prioritized? If the answer is no, then no amount of warmth can justify the cold that follows. You are not meant to live in emotional limbo. You are meant to thrive in love that stays. Let him ride his roller coaster alone. You deserve steady ground. Type number 4. The man who always uses work as an excuse. The illusion of effort. He's ambitious, driven, and constantly busy. He tells you he's building a future, chasing his dreams, or grinding for success. On the surface, he seems admirable, like a man with vision and purpose. But underneath that impressive image lies a hard truth: He uses work as an excuse to avoid emotional responsibility and meaningful commitment. This type of man always has a reason not to show up. He cancels dates at the last minute because of a work emergency. He rarely makes plans in advance because he never knows what the week will look like. He forgets anniversaries, misses special moments, and justifies every absence by pointing to his calendar. His schedule becomes the wall between you and the relationship you deserve. At first, you may feel understanding. You might even admire his dedication. You believe he's working hard for a better life, and maybe even for the two of you. But as time passes, it becomes clear that his career always comes first. You are never the priority. You are merely expected to understand, wait, and support him while he remains emotionally unavailable. When you express frustration, he flips the script. He accuses you of not being supportive. He might say, "I'm doing this for us," or "You should be proud of me." These words are meant to guilt you into silence. Instead of addressing your emotional needs, he paints you as the unreasonable one for wanting more time, connection, and presence. His work is not just a job, it's a shield. It protects him from the vulnerability that real intimacy demands. As long as he is busy, he doesn't have to deal with tough conversations, emotional closeness, or future planning. His focus on career becomes the perfect excuse to avoid evolving the relationship into something deeper and more accountable. It's not that ambition is bad. On the contrary, ambition is attractive. But in a healthy relationship, a driven man knows how to make space for love. He finds time even in a packed schedule. He communicates clearly, shows appreciation, and stays connected emotionally. The man who constantly hides behind his work, however, does not make the effort to balance both. He uses busyness as a way to avoid showing up as a partner. You may begin to feel invisible. Your milestones, emotions, and needs seem secondary to his next big meeting or deadline. When you try to talk about the future, he delays the conversation. "Let's wait until work settles down," he says. But that moment never comes. Work never truly settles. The truth is, it's not about the job, it's about his unwillingness to commit. Sometimes, this man is not even as busy as he claims. He exaggerates his workload to maintain the image of being important, needed, or irreplaceable. In doing so, he justifies his distance. He convinces you that he simply cannot be present, when in reality, he chooses not to be. Even more confusing is when he showers you with affection during short breaks in his schedule. He suddenly becomes sweet, attentive, and apologetic. You start believing again. But once his busy phase returns, so does the distance. This inconsistency creates emotional whiplash, keeping you hooked and hopeful that things will get better. But they rarely do. Being with this kind of man means constantly waiting. Waiting for him to finish a project. Waiting for his schedule to open up. Waiting for him to finally prioritize you. Your relationship becomes a waiting room, and you are the one sitting alone, hoping he will finally walk through the door and stay. It is important to recognize that everyone is busy. The difference lies in effort and intention. A man who truly wants to be with you will not make excuses, he will make adjustments. He will not ask you to wait indefinitely. He will move forward with you despite the chaos. The man who always blames work is not too busy to love. He is too afraid, too distracted, or too self-centered to make space for someone else in his life. And if you keep accepting his excuses, you end up shrinking your own needs to fit his convenience. That is not love. That is emotional self-abandonment. You deserve a partner who is present, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. A partner who respects your time, values your connection, and understands that success means nothing without someone to share it with. You should never have to compete with a calendar for attention or affection. If you are with a man who always blames work, ask yourself this: are you in a partnership, or are you just a placeholder until he finds time for you? Because love should never feel like something you have to squeeze into someone else's schedule. Let him chase his goals. You chase the love you truly deserve. Type number 5. The man who never introduces you to anyone. The hidden relationship. You have been seeing him for weeks, maybe even months. You talk, spend time together, share laughter, and exchange intimate moments. But there is one glaring issue that continues to bother you: he has never introduced you to a single person in his life. No friends. No family. Not even a passing mention to someone else about you. You exist in a separate world, tucked away from the rest of his life. At first, you might justify it. Maybe he's just private. Maybe he's shy. Maybe it's still too early. But deep down, you start to feel invisible. As the relationship progresses, that sense of being hidden becomes harder to ignore. You realize that you are not a part of his real world, you are just a well-kept secret. This type of man thrives on keeping his romantic life compartmentalized. He enjoys the comfort and benefits of being with someone but resists integrating that person into his full life. He may tell you that he values his privacy or that his friends are too nosy. He might say that his family is complicated. But over time, these reasons start to sound like excuses. One of the clearest signs that he is not serious is his unwillingness to let others know about you. When a man is proud of the woman he's with, he wants the world to see her. He wants to bring her into his circle, introduce her to the people who matter to him, and build a shared life. The man who hides you, on the other hand, keeps you in the shadows because he has no intention of creating something lasting. He might say things like, "I just want to keep things between us," or "I don't want outside opinions to affect what we have." While that might sound romantic at first, it's often a red flag. What he really means is, "I want to enjoy you without having to commit to you publicly." When you bring up the issue, he may become defensive. He'll downplay your concerns or accuse you of being insecure. He'll insist that introductions are not a big deal and that it doesn't mean he cares any less. But actions speak louder than words. If he is not willing to make your presence known to the people in his life, then he is not taking the relationship seriously. The truth is, hiding you serves a purpose. It allows him to live a double life, one where he can remain emotionally and socially unaccountable. You do not meet his friends, so you cannot learn more about his true personality. You do not meet his family, so you cannot see how he interacts with those closest to him. You are left in the dark, depending only on what he chooses to show you. This situation creates a constant sense of insecurity. You start to question your worth. You wonder if he is ashamed of you, or worse, if he is already committed to someone else. You might even blame yourself, thinking that maybe you are just not important enough to introduce. But the problem is not your worth, it is his lack of courage and clarity. Sometimes, the reason he hides you is because he is keeping his options open. If no one knows about you, he can continue to flirt, date, or pursue other people without consequence. In other cases, he simply does not want to deal with the responsibilities that come with integrating someone into his personal life. Either way, it reflects emotional immaturity and fear of commitment. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be acknowledged and embraced, not hidden away. Being someone's partner means being included in their world, not just in private moments behind closed doors. Love should feel like light, not like something you have to hide in the dark. If you are constantly questioning why he has not introduced you to anyone, ask yourself this: if he truly cared, would he still be keeping you a secret? If he saw a future with you, would he be so hesitant to let others know you exist? You are not asking for too much. You are asking for basic respect and visibility in the relationship. A man who values you will want to show you off. He will proudly hold your hand in public, talk about you with his friends, and include you in his life. He will not make you feel like you are living in a private bubble that could burst at any time. If he is not ready to acknowledge you in front of others, he is not ready to love you properly. Let him keep his secret life. You deserve to be with someone who is not afraid to say, "This is the woman I care about." Do not settle for being a hidden chapter in someone's story. Be with someone who makes you part of the headline. Type number 6. The man who wants comfort without responsibility. Love without effort. He loves your company. He enjoys the way you listen, the way you care, and the way you make him feel special. He's happy to spend time with you, laugh with you, and even sleep next to you. But when it comes to taking responsibility, emotionally, practically, or relationally, he vanishes. This is the man who wants all the comfort of a relationship, but none of the responsibility. In the beginning, this man often seems ideal. He's laid back, fun, easy to talk to. He makes you feel at ease. You might think, he's different. He's not playing games. And in a way, you're right, he isn't playing games. He just doesn't plan on doing the work that love requires. What he's truly looking for is emotional convenience, not emotional commitment. This type of man thrives in low-pressure situations. He prefers casual dates over meaningful discussions. He enjoys physical intimacy but avoids emotional vulnerability. He likes being treated like a boyfriend but resists labels, definitions, or expectations. He doesn't want conflict, plans, or serious conversations. The moment things get too real, he retreats. One of the biggest signs you're with a man like this is his refusal to take initiative. He won't make future plans, check in consistently, or take steps to deepen the relationship. You're always the one initiating conversations, organizing time together, and carrying the emotional weight. He's comfortable, and that's exactly the problem. He's too comfortable, because he knows you're doing all the work. He may say things like, "Let's not complicate things," or "Why can't we just enjoy what we have?" These statements are meant to keep you in a state of emotional limbo. He wants the connection, affection, and support you provide, but he doesn't want to be held accountable for your feelings or the consequences of his own behavior. This man is often emotionally lazy. He avoids hard conversations. If you try to express your needs or concerns, he shuts down or changes the subject. He might even accuse you of being too demanding. To him, anything that disrupts his comfort zone is seen as a threat, even if it's simply you asking for clarity or respect. What makes this type of man particularly dangerous is how easy it is to fall into the illusion that you are in a relationship. He is around. He's affectionate. He spends time with you. On the surface, things look and feel like love. But dig deeper, and you realize that you are building a connection on one side only. He is reaping the benefits of a relationship while avoiding any of the effort it takes to sustain one. Over time, this imbalance becomes draining. You feel emotionally neglected, unsupported, and increasingly frustrated. Yet every time you think about walking away, you remember the good times. You remember his smile, his warmth, and the moments that felt real. You hold on to the hope that maybe, just maybe, he will step up. But he won't, not unless he chooses discomfort over comfort, responsibility over ease. The man who only wants comfort will stay as long as you allow him to. He has no motivation to change because the situation benefits him. He receives affection, validation, and companionship without having to put anything on the line. As long as you continue to give without expecting growth, he will remain exactly as he is. And when the relationship finally reaches a breaking point, when you ask for more, he often responds with confusion or even guilt-tripping. He'll say, "I thought everything was fine," or "I never promised anything." These statements are designed to shift blame and make you question your own expectations. But wanting consistency, emotional effort, and shared responsibility is not asking for too much. It is asking for the bare minimum in a real relationship. It's important to recognize that true love is not just about comfort. It's about showing up, doing the work, and being emotionally available even when it's inconvenient. Love requires responsibility. Responsibility for your words, your actions, your time, and the other person's heart. Without that, what you have is not a relationship, it's a comfortable arrangement with an expiration date. You deserve more than someone who only wants the easy parts of love. You deserve someone who is willing to weather the hard parts with you. Someone who shows up even when it's uncomfortable. Someone who chooses effort because they know you're worth it. If you find yourself constantly giving while he simply receives, ask yourself this: are you in love, or are you just providing emotional comfort to someone who never plans on reciprocating? Let him enjoy his comfort. You go find a love that's built on effort, equality, and genuine emotional responsibility. Type number 7. The man with a history of cheating. Can you truly trust him? They say people can change, and in many cases, they do. Growth is real, healing is possible, and past mistakes do not always define the future. But when it comes to a man with a known history of cheating, the question is not just whether he has changed, but whether he is willing to confront his patterns, take accountability, and actively build trust in a consistent, transparent way. The man who has cheated in past relationships often walks into new ones with baggage that affects not only him but also the woman who dares to believe that this time, things will be different. He might seem remorseful. He might say he has learned his lesson. But true change is not found in words. It is found in consistent actions over time. One of the biggest red flags is when he casually mentions his infidelity without showing any real guilt or reflection. If he speaks of his past cheating as though it were no big deal, or worse, blames his ex for pushing him to it, that's a sign he hasn't taken responsibility. Accountability is the first step toward change. Without it, old patterns often resurface. A man who has a habit of cheating tends to struggle with self-control and emotional regulation. He gives in to temptation easily, seeks validation from others constantly, and views love through the lens of desire rather than commitment. For him, attention and novelty often outweigh loyalty and depth. And unless he has actively worked on addressing those internal issues, he is likely to repeat the cycle. In the beginning, you may feel special. He chooses you. He focuses on you. He makes you feel like you're different from the women before you. This illusion of exclusivity is powerful. But if you notice flirtatious behavior with other women, secrecy around his phone, or discomfort when you ask about boundaries, those are signs he may still be living with one foot outside the relationship. The man with a cheating past often operates on charm. He knows how to say the right things. He knows how to make you feel desired. But beneath the surface, there may be a lack of depth. His emotional intimacy is limited. He may avoid vulnerability, dodge serious conversations, and become defensive when questioned. All of this makes it hard for you to feel safe. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, and with this man, trust becomes a constant battle. You may find yourself overthinking, double-checking, or snooping, things you never did before. Not because you are insecure, but because his past behavior has planted seeds of doubt. And if he is not doing everything in his power to rebuild and maintain your trust, then you are carrying the weight of his past while he carries none of the responsibility. Sometimes, he will accuse you of living in the past or not giving him a chance. He will say things like, "Why are you punishing me for something I did years ago?" But the truth is, you are not punishing him, you are protecting yourself. Trust is not given freely to someone who has broken it before. It must be earned through consistent honesty, openness, and respect. A reformed cheater is someone who not only acknowledges their wrongs but also actively works to change. He is transparent, patient, and humble. He invites accountability and welcomes difficult conversations. He understands that rebuilding trust takes time, and he does not rush the process. If the man you are with does not show these signs, it is unlikely that real change has occurred. It is also important to ask yourself why you are willing to take on the burden of someone else's unhealed behavior. Do you believe it is your job to fix him? Do you feel like proving you are better than the ones before you? These beliefs are dangerous because they keep you stuck in a cycle of trying to earn love from someone who may not even be capable of giving it. You deserve a relationship where loyalty is the default, not a constant concern. Where faithfulness is not a favor, but a natural expression of love and respect. Where you do not have to watch over your shoulder or compete with ghosts from the past. If a man has cheated before, he is not automatically unworthy of love. But you have every right to ask for proof of his growth, not through promises, but through real, consistent behavior. If he becomes defensive or impatient when asked to earn trust, then he is not truly ready to be in a relationship that requires it. Love requires vulnerability, but it also requires wisdom. You are not obligated to stay in a relationship that keeps you anxious, uncertain, or emotionally exhausted. Trust your instincts. Pay attention to patterns. And remember that your peace of mind is more valuable than any temporary passion. If he cannot be loyal, let him go. Because you are not here to be someone's redemption story. You are here to be loved, fully and faithfully. Conclusion. Love should never leave you feeling confused, invisible, or emotionally depleted. But when you find yourself entangled with a man who falls into one of these 7 categories, whether he's afraid of commitment, keeps his options open, runs hot and cold, hides behind work, keeps you a secret, avoids responsibility, or has a history of cheating, you must stop and ask yourself a hard question. Is this really what love is supposed to feel like? These men don't lack charm. In fact, many are incredibly magnetic. But charm is not commitment. Attention is not affection. And presence without responsibility is not love. True love requires more than words and fleeting moments. It demands emotional maturity, accountability, and consistent action. Anything less is a trap disguised as a relationship. You deserve a man who meets you with clarity, not confusion. Who chooses you fully, not just when it's convenient. Who introduces you proudly, stands beside you consistently, and shows up with both heart and intention. A man who does not fear love, but honors it with responsibility. If you've seen yourself in any of these stories, take this as a sign, not to blame yourself, but to awaken to your worth. You are not here to fix someone, prove yourself, or beg for love. You are here to be loved rightly, deeply, and with courage. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away from the wrong man to make space for the right one. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. Hopefully the sharing about love and lessons from this video will help you have new thoughts and find empathy. If you find the video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and share it with those around you. Each of us has our own stories about love, and I'm happy to explore them with you. See you in the next videos. Wish you a wonderful and loving day.